People like to get worked up about things, and that's just not our style. So, to save you guys a call to the authorities, take a listen to this. The opinions and ideas you hear are those of the hosts, their guests, and their callers, and not those of the companies, sponsors, or advertisers for this podcast. And with that said, enjoy the show.
Well, here we go. Welcome to Ice-T and the Hippogriff. My name is Jesse, also known as Ice-T Kirby. I am joined here by my awesome co-host, Victoria, going by the name of Do the Hippogriff on her social media platforms. And we are kind of excited about this. This is something that I never thought I'd be doing in the past few weeks of thinking about it and preparing it, and it's going to be a great time. Today is April 11th. It is a wonderful Saturday evening here in Florida, and the time is 7:01, so we are pretty much on time.
It's
Victoria,
not something
do you have any...
I usually am.
Oh, no, yeah. Do you have anything you want to say before we kick it off here?
Oh my gosh, it's so happy to be here. Thank you so much for putting the idea out there that we do this. I'm really excited to kind of just chat along, see what other people think, and how we move.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, if for those of you who are listening to this after it's recorded and uploaded, you can watch us live from twitch.tv/IceTKirby for the moment, and that might change depending on how successful we are. But, I mean, that's where you'll find us. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend so far. And, yeah, let's get into this. I think what we're basically going to discuss a lot today is the one and only coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Yes, the coronavirus here. Let's give it a boo real quick. Yeah, that we don't like the coronavirus. So... What have you been doing, Victoria? I'll let you take the reins here. What have you been doing, during this whole thing?
Well, I'm not really sure how many days I've been home at this point, but I've been doing my best to just keep myself really occupied, taking the time to take a better look at myself and, do some things that I would want to improve upon. I've been working out a lot, between 3 and 5 times a week, which is great. And I've been working with the things I have around the house. If I have a chair or a step ladder, I'll, modify my workouts to work out as much as possible. I've been able to take the time to give myself, to give my hair, my face, my skin, ultimate treatment, moisturizing and such. I've been walking my dogs a lot. I don't know how many people I don't know how many people's pets are sick and tired of them every 3 hours. Hey, you ready to go for that other walk, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting time. Obviously, this is something that no one foresaw. It kind of grew and grew and grew until it kind of hit us all in the face in a different ways.
Oh yeah.
As far as what I've been doing, I've been teaching. I'm a teacher. For those of you who don't know, I teach music at an elementary school. And we've been completely shifted to online. And online teaching is it's a lot different when you've never had to do it before. So I've been getting a grasp on that, and I've been doing my time on there. And other than that, recreationally, I feel like I have. It's interesting, and I talked to Thomas about this today. You know Thomas Fawcett? He's a great friend of ours. I talked to him on the phone today, and pretty much he kind of agreed. Yes, it's horrible, and it's sad that we have to stay inside, and it's sad that a lot of people are being the furlough thing, with jobs and everything people are being let go. But being able to use a little bit of that extra time has given me the opportunity to do this, and it's strangely invigorating, but obviously it's not because of the right reason, obviously. But I've other than teaching, I stream on Twitch. I play video games, and I've been researching this whole podcasting thing. And before we move on, I do want to recognize the people in the chat. We have 7 viewers already, and I didn't even I didn't even know 7 people knew about this. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. For those of you in the chat, you can say whatever you want. We'll be sure to check in with you guys and communicate with you. We'll recognize your thoughts and try to keep you participating in the podcast as we go on here. So one thing I do want to say is, for those of you, this was sort of a last second idea, and I don't know if Victoria, if you're on that same boat as I am, because this was something I came up with and thought would be fun literally less than a week ago. So for me, it's kind of cool that I've been able to grind and create these overlays and get the stream set up with the camera and record it and get a microphone with the shock mount and the boom arm and all this fancy stuff to be able to do this. And I don't know, I'm in a state of excitement and I'm a little nervous, but who knows? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. But for those of you in the chat, thank you for being here, and we hope you tune in another for the next episode. This is a pilot episode, so we're expecting things to go wrong, and that's okay. If things go wrong and if we mess up, that's what this is for. And that way we can get any feedback and we can iron out any bugs, as we call them. But so yeah, so let me jump into this real quick. One of the things we talked about this week in preparation for this was how people are going to deal with this coronavirus. Okay. Now we talked about like what we're going to do or what we've been doing casually, but what if this goes on for a long period of time? And it's projected to go on for a while now. But I'm talking, what if this thing lasts until December? Or what if this thing lasts until the next year? Like, we can't even have a New Year's together. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you have any input on that? It's a loaded question.
It's a fully loaded question.
Hold on, Victoria. You might need to reset your audio thing. You're getting a little buggy.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Do your reset on the voice meter thing, the audio engine.
Testing. Can you
much
hear me
better. Yes, we fixed it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, to answer your question, it's a fully loaded question. It's pretty much you're asking, what are we going to do if the rest of the year is completely stopped? I can't live my life anymore. I can't go out to see my friends. I can't go to the gym to, work out. The gym is going to have so much more than my house is going to have. And that's also a way of meeting people. How we're meeting people. That's how is that going to be different at the end of the year? And just how people are going to approach things differently. I mean, it's changing everything. We're going to a digital age now, and the digital age is what's taking over everything. You're teaching online right now, and that's probably posed its own challenges already for you. And I don't know how you plan on, combating that with time as time goes on. But like everything's on hold. Like my friends that live across the country, we can't go on vacation to see each other right now. But what's gonna the change that should come from that is
Oh, I'm sorry. You can keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But it really it forces you to really think about certain things. Like, if I can't do anything until a certain time, what am I going to do between now and then to like prepare myself for when I can do these things again? In preparation for going out, are you going to change your wardrobe? Are you going to start working out? Are you going to maybe accept that going out and clubbing is not for you anymore? Maybe I need to explore another hobby. What are you doing now to kind of like not coexist with everything, but just kind of like keep your life as normal as possible without, losing the things that you like to do.
Right. And it's funny you bring that up, the whole keeping life as normal as possible. Um, it's so hard to do that, when you're not allowed to go out and just walk around a store like you normally would. You have to wear a mask. You have to be 6 feet away from people.
Hmm.
It's definitely a life-changing experience. Something I do want to say is my dad brought this up over the week last week, and he said like this to him. He's getting older, and he this is something like an alien invasion to him. It's so uncommon. It's almost like an unseen enemy, as they call it, right? That's what everyone's kind of nicknaming this virus, the unseen enemy, the unseen danger. And to him, it's like almost like a movie. People are wearing masks. They're unable to be near each other. They're acting in ways. People have to act in different ways and do different things. Even today, I I went to pick up food. And I did it safely, so no one judged me. I went to go pick up food safely. I was with a friend, my friend Mike, who's actually in the chat. Shout out to Mike.
Separate
And
cars. Did you go separate cars?
we drove in separate cars. We stayed in our own vehicles. But I mean, even upon watching people pick up their food from they have like this outdoor, pickup station. So you can't even go inside the store or the restaurant. You have to pick it up from outside under like a tent. And I mean, some people were following the guidelines of 6 feet, but some people were literally standing all underneath the tent just to get shade. They were completely ignoring these guidelines that the the CDC suggests. CDC, right? Yeah, they suggest for us.
Yes.
But it was just so odd to communicate. Even just communicating with someone from 6 feet away, it's almost awkward, and
It's
and
understandable.
it's happening. Like you say hi to a friend, and they have to be 6 feet away, and you have to be 6 feet away, and you're just kind of thinking like, don't go close, don't go too close. Is this? And like you kind of look at them and you're like, is this good? Like you're not saying it, but you're just thinking it.
Yeah.
And it's just, even that alone is kind of like this awkward social norm that has to be developed and it has to be followed. Um,
It's gonna be different. It's gonna pose a lot of differences to it. I've been seeing a lot of people engaging just like that with the masks on, and with the gloves is really funny because a lot of people are not aware of cross contamination. Yeah, the gloves are protecting you, the mask is protecting you, but how many things are you touching with those gloves before you change your gloves? Like just because you're wearing a
exactly.
pair of gloves does not mean that you're protecting yourself or anyone else better from this virus. It's going to be a lot of supply and demand, and I'm a little upset, or I guess discouraged, that people it's taken this for people to realize just simple sanitation and simple hygiene has just always been so important. It's not right now that everyone's getting sick. It's forever that this has been important.
Yeah, and it's the wake up call we should have never had to have. It shouldn't have taken this dangerous virus to get people to do simple hygiene and to be clean and to be sanitary. And sometimes taking it to the extreme can actually make it worse. And this is another thing that my friend Thomas mentioned. He said like some of these habits, where people are being overly I don't want to
Explain.
say being too safe, because there's no, I mean, you could be being too safe isn't a bad thing, but the reaction to it. For example, the toilet paper. Why is toilet paper the thing missing from our stores? You think it would be the food, you think it would be the non-perishables or the frozen aisle, where the shelves would be empty, right? The things what
Hmm.
you need to survive. But it's toilet paper and it's paper products, and I feel like, and I don't know, I'm not sure how it all started. I would almost put money down though that it was someone who posted a video online of buying a toilet paper in bulk, and they probably posted a video of it or posted a picture of it, and it went viral. And as soon as that went viral, that's when people said, well, oh crap, I need to go buy toilet paper too, because if I don't go get it now, they won't have any more. And it caused this almost like this panic for TP panic, like this toilet paper panic. Like, why are we panicking for toilet paper? I mean, yes, wiping your butt, it's you want toilet paper for that, but I mean, I just think it makes no sense for this virus. Like, yes, we hunker down for these hurricanes, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling right now, but it's like we hunker down for these hurricanes, and we buy food, we buy wood and tools, we buy batteries, and that's the stuff you would expect to be gone, and food included. But now we're hunkering down. Essentially, we're hunkering down, right? Essential workers still work. People who aren't essential have to stay home. Why toilet paper? Let's get this trending now that toilet paper, it's okay. You're gonna find toilet paper. You don't need to buy as much as you can. You can go to the grocery store like a normal person, like you always have. That's not, so far in Florida, you're allowed to do that. That has not been restricted yet. If it's an essential thing it's one of the essential activities or whatever, you can go to the store and buy what you need to buy, and you can buy it normally. So if anything, please, everyone who's viewing us right now and listening to us right now, please let a friend know it's okay.
You don't
panic
need
with the toilet
27 rolls of toilet paper for 2 people in your house.
You really don't. And like it's like I'm picturing like families building forts out of their damn toilet paper. Like,
it's not a joke. It's not a joke. There are actually some videos on Instagram I've come across. There are drag queens holding competitions. It's toilet paper competitions. They'll take a certain number of sheets and they'll tape it to the individual blades of their fans. They will turn the fan on and they'll make an ABC outfit out of toilet paper. It's kind of outrageous. It's funny, like watching it is funny, but the reality of it is people are just wasting their money that they really should be saving right now. If you are one of the many employees, such as myself, that are furloughed right now, you don't want to spend money that you don't need to be spending. And if you have to spend it, spend it on something that you're gonna use, something that is going towards, your survival right now.
I just no.
It's bad. It's bad. People are selling surgical masks for $2. Some people have found hand sanitizer for $10. It's outrageous. I've got people that are spending $1,000 to build a gym at home. And now we're here, with all this toilet paper. And just as a side note, the immune system works really well with fruits and veggies, which I notice the grocery store still has quite a lot of. So, I understand. Healthy eating may not be like everybody's first and favorite thing to do, but we need to consider that, things, vitamin C, apples, pears, bananas with potassium, carrots, good for your eyes. We need to consider that these are probably better alternatives right now than, continuing to stock up on things that, you don't need all that toilet paper, even in a hurricane. Jesse, can you ever recall a hurricane hitting Florida where toilet paper just flew off the shelves? Paper towels, maybe. But toilet paper?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's mind blowing how the toilet paper just kind of took off, and it's not just toilet paper; it's paper products. Even paper towels are gone because people are probably like, oh, well, they're out of toilet paper, so I better buy the paper towels and wipe my bottom with that. I mean, that's probably
take a shower, guys. Take a shower.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I went to the store the other day. I went to Publix. I needed groceries. I got everything I needed. Everything I needed was available to me, and I was lucky that I was able to grab one batch of toilet paper, and it was like the worst brand. Like, I don't even know what it's called. It's like some knockoff brand of toilet paper. So I was lucky to get that, and I bought and even tissue like to blow your nose, like Kleenex. Even Kleenex is limited. You can only get 2 boxes. Cannot take more than 2. Toilet paper is only 1. I got this like crappy, no pun intended, 6-pack of unnamed toilet paper, and so I was lucky to get that. But otherwise, I shop like a normal person. Now, is there a process for shopping that's different? Yes. You have to walk down aisles one way. Like, there's no two-way aisles at the Publix that I went to. And for those of you who are not from Florida, Publix is a grocery store in Florida. It's like one of the most known grocery stores. But
The best.
yeah,
The best store.
Yeah, it is the best. I will say that.
It is the best.
But Dan says, "Keep feathering it, brother."
I
Oh
mean,
my
look,
God.
it's very frustrating. Like, it doesn't really matter like what walk of life you're coming from. Like, it's very frustrating. I get a lot of posts where, I don't understand how people without children can be so inconsiderate and take the things away that people with children need. It's not to say that like one person's needs are more important than the other person's needs. Everybody's important right now. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's stressed out.
Right.
But like this excessive like doomsday planning, which may dive in a little bit to later, it's a little unnecessary. Like, I understand, like, my father is a military man, P to the sixth power, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I get that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Say that. That's like a tongue twister. Say that again.
I love it. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Prior
Say really fast.
prior planning prevents what? Prior planning. No, say it.
Prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I'm going to make that the episode title, I think.
I like it.
I think that'll be the pilot episode title. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I love it.
It's ironic because toilet paper right now, right? Huh?
Yeah, piss poor poops. How about that? Hey, fucking. All right. So here we go. So one of the things other than shopping, so we covered shopping. Socially, we talked about the distance and the social distance and hanging out or not hanging out in this case. But what about and this is a topic. This is a hot topic that I think a lot of people are going to want to tune into. How's the dating world going here?
What's
how do you
dating?
think? What is dating? Yeah. How do you think that's going to get integrated or unintegrated? How are we going to get used to this dating thing without being able to hang out?
I'll be honest with you. I believe the TV show Catfish might actually win a big award, with the amount of catfishing that might happen. The dating is going to change a lot, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody in the world, but I speak for myself. I'm not somebody that really likes to be approached by people. I'm the type of woman that likes to approach the man, if just to kind of start that conversation.
So you're like a goddess among men here. You're what I would enjoy to have more often in terms of encounters. But anyway, continue. I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's a species. It's a breed thing. You got to really be comfortable in what you're doing. But I just think that part for me, I think that's going to be the most difficult change. It's so easy right now to go online and message 6 different people at one time. Hey girl, how you doing? Hey miss, how you doing? Hey ma, you looking so fly. Hey chick, I saw your picture. It's really easy to do it. You're behind something. There's something kind of securing you, and like that's kind of like your crutch of confidence. But then we have to boil it down to the part where you are going to have to meet each other at some point. And sometimes what you see is not always what you get. And that for some people is very frustrating, because now you're in this position where I've dedicated this time to speak with you, and now we're in person and it's not what I was expecting, or like who you've communicated yourself to be is not that person. The internet really provides like a wall of security for people to like live in a fantasy world. And we don't live a fantasy. Like, we live a real life. I like to talk to people. I like to go out. I like to engage I like to engage groups. It's going to be really difficult for people. Instead of going out to get dinner now, are they just going to want to stay home and do something distance wise? How do you know that connection is a true connection over the internet?
And it's funny because I think this can go one of two ways. So you have the people who are on the apps, right, we're talking Bumble, we're talking Tinder, we're talking Hinge, and all that nonsense.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
and
There's a lot of them
yeah,
out there now, man.
and I there's one or two things that can happen. I think it's either these apps will become more popular and they will become more used, because let's face it, and from this is me talking from the guy end, the and I don't know if it's the same for women as much, but there's a lot of people who match with you on these apps, and then they kind of just they say a few things and then they're gone. And it's usually the oh, I got busy, or oh, I don't go on this very much, follow me on Instagram, or oh, click on the link to join my cam site, and you're just like, ugh, like this is frustrating.
A
you know
bot.
but will this virus encourage more interaction because there's nothing else to do? You can't go out and meet the people. But if you're sitting at home and you're watching Netflix, but Netflix is, not what you're, if you need that social interaction, I feel like some of these people who normally don't socialize as much on the apps might start actually, might actually, I can't even speak, might
They're gonna want
start
to go out more.
actually
They're gonna want
talking.
to try something different.
Right, they're gonna actually start talking, and it's either that or it's the opposite. It's the apps becomes flooded with the bad parts of social dating or social app dating, and people start to dismiss these apps and get rid of the apps because they're still not working, and people are and now you're stuck inside, and even the app's not even helping you, so they're just like, this is stupid, like I'm gonna get rid of it. So it's like, it's weird. I think it can go either way, because of the result of this virus and not being able to go out. But so I just wanted to touch up a little bit on that, because I thought I thought dating would have an interesting dynamic in all this, and for the people who are already dating and they are already hanging out and they're already with each other physically, are we expecting a birth rate to rise? Are we expecting more babies after coronavirus and they're all named Corona?
Middle name virus.
Are we expecting that, or are we expecting and I say this not as a joke, but I mean there's a lot more domestic violence that might be coming out of this, unfortunately.
Oh,
I know we
100%.
went from dating to that, but it just, the connection was there. Families or spouses or significant others who are unfortunately required to stay home and they don't have anywhere else to go, they have to suffer with that. So, but anyway, I just wanted to,
We shouldn't call it
mention.
suffering. We shouldn't call that suffering. If you're living with your significant other, that's a choice. And I think that's part of a relationship. When you get to that stage of your relationship where you spent enough time apart with each other, and you get to that part where you decide, hey, you know what? I would love for you to be the person I see in the morning and at nighttime, and come home, and I want you to appreciate my socks on the floor. And I think it'd be really cool to share moments where we share towels in the shower together. And I think that, like, some people may skip that part, or some
Mhm.
people may neglect that part. But to build off what you were saying, about domestic violence, it's a night and day thing, but they go hand in hand, because, as a matter of fact, domestic violence phone calls to the police have actually been on the rise since
Mhm.
quarantine started, which I found that to be very ironic, because suddenly now couples are being forced to spend time together at home. It's, for me, it's very ironic, and it's kind of humorous. I was just in a relationship where we were living together, and these things that people are like getting very frustrated about, being in the same room with each other all day long, having to look at each other all day long, and having to engage each other in so many ways. I mean, that was my favorite part. That was my favorite part about living with my boyfriend at the time.
Right.
We
Right.
were always just engaging in these activities, and it felt so, like, natural, and it felt right. If we fought, we fought, but we were at that stage in our relationship where, you know okay, some time has passed, and now we can go and be back to, being this couple that, really loves each other, that is, supportive of each other, and a couple that is, like, really enjoying and appreciative of what it is that we have. But with the rise of these domestic violence calls, like what do you want to say that we're expecting? Statistically speaking, 50,000 couples a year in the state of Florida file for divorce. So
Mhm.
that's 100,000 people that are now in a are in an environment by themselves. And it's to say that it's a domino effect of things can and more than likely will happen. Will more people go to online dating? Are people going to start going out even more to interact with other people? Are they
Right.
going to find new things to be interested in? The housing situation, think about something like that. They're going to separate their domicile. Maybe one person might stay in the place that they're living, but that's
Mhm.
another place someone has to go to. And eventually, we are going to have people, we're going to have to hire construction to build other places for people to live. So now we're creating more jobs. People are going to be trying to find different avenues of meeting people. So who knows? Dating app services are probably going to go up. Twitch might see a huge rise in people. People needing to stream. I mean, meet people in these chat rooms just like this. Um, what
Shout out to
are
the
they
chat.
gonna? Are they gonna hit the gym? Is the gym gonna see a rise in members? Uh, are you gonna see a rise in the fine arts? It's really interesting what people find themselves doing when they have all of this free time to themselves.
Right, right,
Um,
right. Um,
so what is the plan? Like, what is the plan of attack going to be? Are you guys going to work through it? Is that your relationship? Is your relationship strong enough to work through this? Or are you going to fall victim to this digital age of dating?
right. No, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I might be a victim. I'm just gonna let you know right now. But,
You're not a
um,
victim. You're not a victim.
no, it's interesting how this thing is what the unseen attacker, as they call it. It's interesting to see how it's shaping our society, currently, including the dating world. But another thing that's shifting, and I promise. Oh, and chat, if you're in the Twitch chat right now, please, we would love to hear from you guys. We want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Ask us
And
questions,
yeah,
guys.
ask us questions. We'll answer your questions. Um, that way you can participate and we can share what you're saying with the people who listen to the podcast after it's uploaded to YouTube and after it's uploaded to wherever we're going to upload it. Which we're going to figure that out. We just haven't gotten that far yet. But please ask questions. Please share comments and concerns, and we want to hear from you. I'm going to give the chat an applause real quick because they are all
You
hanging
guys are
out.
great.
They're great. Here's an applause right here. You can't hear it, Victoria, but I can, and so can they. So thank you, chat, for being here. Um, but yeah. So one thing that we also talked about this week before we went live um was excuse me was the idea of how entertainment is changing. And I see on your notes, I have your notes pulled up here, Victoria.
Mhm.
I see you have changes in entertainment. You have music festivals, Insomniac, and other EDM artists going through changes, live streams of these guys and girls and people. Um, and on the TV side, I looked up Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan, a lot of talk show hosts, a lot of them are bringing their shows home with them, and they're actually recording them on like what look like cell phone cameras and camcorders, and they're producing their own episodes of these shows. So the whole idea of entertainment is changing. I'm not a huge TV guy. I have YouTube TV. I watch it for sports mostly, which that's another form of entertainment that is just not existence. But entertainment's taking a shift, and they're starting to get ready and to tackle this virus and make the best of it for their for whatever product they have. So what do you say on that? Like, what kind of artists have you been following?
I follow a lot of like EDM, like bass and drum and bass and like house artists, and they're really taking this with a grain of salt. I personally am not aware of many other genres of music that are, taking this virus head on, and doing what they can for the community. Like, yes, there are musicians and they're doing their little piano bits here and there at home, but
Hmm.
in the rave community, this is like a big deal for us because a lot of people, this is pretty much what they spend the entire year looking forward to, whether it's EDC Las Vegas, Halloween, Lost Lands, Electric Forest, Electric Zoo, um, Beyond Wonderland. We take the time, to get ourselves together, get an image together, get your persona and your costumes together, and you have these people all over the country that are so excited to see you, and it's taking away that experience. And I think the greatest thing that Insomniac could have done was put together these rave at homes, these rave-a-thons. Everybody's interacting on YouTube, on Radiate, on Facebook, on Instagram. Like, my favorite DJ, Bass Nectar, has been throwing some really nice live streams, every Thursday, and he hasn't planned out for like the next 2 months. He's prepared to entertain and make his fans
Hmm.
really happy
Yeah.
and keep us engaged.
I would imagine as a I've never, don't judge me. No one judge me when I say this. I've never been to an EDM festival. I want to go. Don't judge me. I know half of you are probably throwing up in your throats right now, but
EDC Orlando, Jesse, let's go. EDC Orlando,
I would love
November.
to go. But I would imagine,
November.
I would assume that the experience comes with being there live, seeing all the lights, hearing the people go crazy singing and dancing, and watching all this occur is what makes it interesting and what makes it fun. And I'm not taking
Mhm.
away from the DJs doing it from home. I'm not taking away from any of the TV show hosts doing their show from home because, quite frankly, it's pretty entertaining. But that live experience, feeling the music in your body, the literal vibrations of the sound,
Oh yeah, that's what you
is
pay
an
for. That
experience
is what
that
we're
you
gonna
can't.
do.
Yeah, you can't get that experience from home unless you have speakers the size of your house. But I'm going to take a little pause here, and I'm going to continue with what I'm saying. But Ducky1621 has mentioned something in the chat. He says, "What do you think about the lack of human contact that we now have? I was just telling Victoria the other day how much I missed her hugs and her smile, and it makes life so different." And I think I can tie my answer into what I'm talking about now. Um, the lack of human contact, not being with somebody and seeing them, feeling them, hearing them in person is it's a life-changing thing to not be able to do that. People, I mean, people are depressed, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that this coronavirus is impacting them severely when it comes to depression, and it becomes or when it comes to people who need that interaction, they need that feel or that touch or that closeness, and they can't get it, and it's for their own good. Unfortunately, it's for their own good to keep them healthy, but um, it's tough, and Ducky, for me personally, um, I've had a rough time every now and then. I've gotten upset a couple times since this has started, where I have felt lonely and I have felt like um, I can't be with my friends, and it's a conflict of schedule, and that's okay. I'm a teacher. I work during the day from home. Um, my roommate, who shout out in the chat, Captain Supermarket in the chat, he works an evening job until midnight, and so I usually don't see him too much. I see him in the morning sometimes, but obviously he's getting ready for work, so it's not it's not hangout time. Mercedes, who's our other roommate who lives with us, she's at her boyfriend's house, and she's been there since this whole thing started, and I don't think she's going to come back until after it's over. But it's just it's been a lot of home alone, and I at some points it's fun to be home alone. Do I walk through my hall naked? You bet I do. I have the freedom to do stuff like that, but after a while, when you're playing video games, and a lot of your friends who play video games with you can't play because they're busy or they have work also, and you can't watch anything with anyone. It takes a toll, and I was blessed to be able to hang out with my friends yesterday and play some Jackbox on Discord, and that was a great time, and I loved it, and I appreciate every single person in that Discord chat. um but the times where I haven't been able to do that, I've gotten upset and I've had a rough time. So and I'm okay. I'm not a I'm not a depressed person. I just, I'm very extroverted, and to not be able to uh do the extroverted stuff and be around people, it bothers me, at times. I'll go and I'll sink down a little bit, and it'll upset me, but I'm fine. Like, after, a day, I'm like, it is what it is. And I still see my friends. I still see Pablo in the mornings, and I still see, I saw my friend Ryan today, and I saw my friend Mike today. Shout out to Mike in the chat. He's also here. So that, I know that was a really long answer, Ducky, for your question, but that's kind of how I am on this right now. But and I think it applies to these people who want to attend these EDM shows, and as awesome as it is to see it on stream, and I think it's super creative that they're going to Twitch, and they're throwing these concerts for free. You can't charge anyone for it on Twitch.
Let me just impress you. Let me just impress that upon you.
Okay.
Like, these festivals are very expensive productions. Just like the cheapest one I've personally ever been to, right off the bat, was $300. The fact that the other productions go for $700, they go for $800, they go for upwards of $5,000 for you to go to these things. So it's the fact that they're not even worried about the money, which is like a big deal, because a lot of events that, I mean, at least given the circumstance, that they're canceled, people are getting their money back. But on a regular day, they would not give you your money back. Insomniac, like, really, they're not even worried about the money. They want to put these shows together for people to keep the community together, keep the community sane. I too have missed interacting with humans. I work at the airport, so I see hundreds, if not thousands, of people on a weekly basis, and it's not the same person, unless you work there with me and you're the same TSA agent that cleared me the day before. I see different people every day. So from, one day to the next, going from, 300 people in one day to just, myself, my dad, my mom, my brother, and our 4 dogs. It's been a very, it's been it's not traumatizing, but it has certainly been an adjustment from, seeing a bunch of random people and having an excessive amount of things to ask them. Oh, where are you from? What is your culture like? Can you teach me something in your language? To kind of just, hey mom, it's been about 45 minutes since I've seen you. What's up?
Right. Exactly.
But you know what?
Oh, what were you saying? Go for it.
No, nothing. I see that we have another question, and
go for it. Let's read it.
No problem. This is from Arnold Harrington. Hello, sir. How are you?
That is my father, by the way.
Hello, father. Hello, father. Your question here is, how do we know each other as partners? Funny story.
We should probably talk about that, huh?
Yeah. Funny story. Jesse and I went to UCF together, the University of Central Florida. For those of you who don't live here, we both auditioned the same day. On the same instrument. At the time, I was auditioned on trumpet, and Jesse was still playing the trumpet. And I don't know, we were sitting next to each other, and I just, it's like, I don't know, we kind of looked at each other.
Victoria, reset your thing again, and you're starting to wobble a little bit.
Wobble.
It's okay.
See, am I back?
Yeah, you're good now. It's perfect. It was starting to just do that weird glitchy thing. Well, we're going to have to find out why that's happening. But all right, continue. Keep going.
We'll work on it. But yeah. So Jesse and I just started talking to each other, and we just went off respectively to do our auditions. And Jesse and I did not see each other again until we returned in the fall to do the marching nights. And it was really the marching nights that brought us together. We are the class of the rapid fire nights.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Joust. It was a really great adventure. I've taken a lot of time to get to know Jesse. Been able to see Jesse when we were traveling to and from school to home, and it's great because it actually turns out Jesse and I don't live very far apart from each other.
Yeah, it's crazy. And for those of you who are curious, we both attended the University of Central Florida here in Orlando. Go Knights, charge on! And we, in the marching nights, we have the pleasure of naming our class for that year, and we happen to be the Rapid Fire Knights, and that's because during our band practice in over the summer, we have band camp, whatever, what happens at band camp, whatever.
It definitely doesn't stay at band camp.
It doesn't. Yeah, let's get that straight right now. That does not happen. Anyway,
no.
While we were rehearsing, the UCF police station, which is actually not too far away from our practice field, they began test firing weapons, like guns and stuff. And so we heard gunshots going off during the rehearsal, and we were just like, what is happening right now? And sure
So
enough,
close.
yeah, it was very close. It was pretty loud. And so, we took that as inspiration to name our class the Rapid Fire Knights. So, but anyway, yeah, I just want to say this right now. We are already hitting the 45-minute mark. I am so happy that we've been able to chat and stuff, and
Yeah,
I don't even
did
we
it,
don't even have to end it here if we
Jesse.
don't want. But I think we're doing a great job. And I know I'm saying this publicly. And thank you for all the people who are in the chat right now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Before
you.
we go, I do want to touch up on one last thing, and I think I saw it in your notes somewhere. Where was it? Let's see. Oh, I just want to touch on this fun topic before we log out.
Ooh, if I could just interrupt you really quick.
Yeah.
We have
What is
one
it?
more question. You want to take one more question?
Yeah, go for it. We can do his question.
I like this. Well, I guess this could go for both of us. Let's see. LD Harriton.
That's my mom.
Uh,
That is
Hi,
my
Mom.
mother.
Listen, if you need to have a great fan base, and if these are your two biggest fans,
Yeah,
right on, right on,
they
Mom
are
and
my
Dad.
two biggest fans, I think.
Right on. That's a team. Don't you think virtual learning? Don't you think virtual learning is 10 times harder than teaching in person? And I think this is
Oh
a
my
phenomenal
gosh.
question. This is a phenomenal question because yes, Jesse and I were having this discussion the other night, and I asked him a very similar question. Do you think that maybe this is going to perhaps take place of your job at a certain point? And Jesse and I got into an in-depth conversation about it. And, we were kind of on the same page. Where right now it's going to be hard. Because this is just it's everything is one day to the next for people. Like we were never expecting something like this to happen. So from one day to the next, Jesse is going from teaching, fifth graders how to hold drumsticks and read music on the staff to
Mhm.
just having to stand in front of a camera. I mean, the good news is he doesn't probably have to wear like a suit and tie doing it, but he's got to stand in front of a camera now with something that college doesn't prepare you for this. How do you teach children music through a camera?
Uh,
So maybe right now.
yeah, and I'll just chip my 2 cents in here. I've had to learn a lot of things that I never thought I'd have to learn this quickly. Now, learning online teaching is one thing, and I would expect it to happen over time. We're becoming a digital one-to-one state, so that meaning every kid gets a laptop or digital device from their school. And but it is definitely the fact that we were thrown into the deep end per se, with how to teach this. That's definitely where it has become difficult. And me being this nerdy, I'm the hardware guy. I'm the nerdy guy. I have the computer. I have the gaming PC. I built my own stuff. I go on the internet every single day of my life. I use these apps. I play video games. It was hard for me. And if it's hard for me, I would imagine it's insanely difficult for the moms and dads of my generation, or for us, our parents and our grandparents, to be able to figure out Canvas. And for those of you who go to college or have attended college and they had to use Canvas where you do your assignments, doing the teaching in for that is not easy. And creating the modules and creating the classes and the assignments and linking things in, it's not easy at all. So yeah, I would say that virtual learning is about 10 times harder than teaching in person, because in person you can fix things on the spot, especially if you're a good teacher. You can, if it's classroom management, you can take care of the classroom, the students in the classroom, and get them to do what they have to do. If it's something as far as a student needs a worksheet, you literally just hand them the worksheet. You give them a copy of a paper. If a kid can't access Canvas, it's very difficult to get that kid to be able to access Canvas the correct way. And how am I supposed to tell them? And for us specials, I'm specials, meaning I teach music. So I don't have a homeroom class to myself in elementary, but I have every kid in the school. I have all the kindergartners, all the first graders, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I have 1,000 students. I I can't call all of them. It would take me a month or more to call every single kid and tell them how to log into Canvas and get to their assignments. And I've done my best. You know, Canvas has a messaging system where I can send out videos. I record myself, and I've actually created a tutorial, literally created a tutorial on how to access their assignments and modules, and I sent it to them. But that's because I'm the nerdy whiz kid who can do that kind of stuff. I can't picture a person who is not tech savvy. Let me put it that way. Someone who is not tech savvy creating a video tutorial where they are capturing the screen and downloading the software to do so, and then sending it out to all the students. I can't picture a lot of people being able to do that easily. You know what I mean? That stuff. Excuse me. That's stuff that takes weeks to train and learn how to do. So, yeah, the teaching online thing is difficult. And me being in it and experiencing it firsthand, I can vouch and say yes, it is difficult to do. So, yeah, I don't know, very, very difficult. So, yeah, I think we hit a lot of stuff today. I think we did a great time. Do you have any? You wanted to say a quote at the end? Do you have any quotes you want to share before we book it out of here?
My quotes for the day, guys. Stay hydrated, stretch daily, and we cannot change the cards we are dealt, only how we play the hand. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, that's a great one. So I guess we're gonna get out of here. Thank you. And I'm gonna say a few things before we actually hit this end button here. But thank you all for coming. Please follow the stream on Twitch. The follow button should be up here in this corner somewhere. It should say follow with a little heart. You can subscribe. I don't think we're affiliated yet, so we can't do that yet. But please follow. That way you'll get notifications of when we go live next. Please be safe. Follow the CDC guidelines. Please. It is very important to stay healthy and stay safe. This thing, I know we were making light of some of the, we were joking around with the coronavirus, but it is dangerous. Do not treat it lightly. Stay clean. Wash your hands. Use a little bit of hand sanitizer every now and then. Don't cough openly. Cover your mouth. Cover your elbow. Be be courteous to the people around you.
Sneeze in your sleeve, guys.
But most importantly, please have a wonderful weekend. Again, please follow us on Twitch. I will be uploading this podcast to YouTube. I will be uploading this podcast to some sort of website once I find out when or how, to where you can download the podcast and listen to it on your mobile device or on your tablets, or you can stream it. And I think that's it. My name is Ice T Kirby. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on YouTube. And Victoria, do you want to shout out where they can find you so they can follow you as well?
Awesome. Yeah. You guys, you can find me on Instagram at Do the Hippogriff. That's 2 P's and 2 F's. You can find me on Twitter at _Be a Hippogriff. And of course, you can always find me on Facebook. Thank you guys so much. I hope to see you all sooner rather than later.
Yes. Thank you all for coming and listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. See you next week.